Hello, everybody. Welcome to the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. This is episode 413. And today, we're going to talk more Atlanta Falcons football because a lot of stuff is still moving around within their organization. Within the next, 24 hours or, and probably next 12 hours, basically, we're going to be down to 5 less players. Because by the end of the day, we're going to have 85 and we're going to be down to 80. And so it's going to be really interesting to see who get cut, who's going to be retained, and it shouldn't be that big of a deal. So I already know one person that's not going to get cut, in my opinion. This is basically my opinion. I want to give you my thoughts and opinions about that. If this is your first time here, welcome. This is the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Ball. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. Thank you guys for the support and the growing of this channel and the podcast. You guys are making this really go, and I cannot thank you guys enough. Don't want to hold up too much more of your time on this Tuesday, and I just want to go ahead and get into this. After a good preseason outing, we did pretty good as a team, pretty much unscathed as far as injury. We're still looking at Drake London situation with his knee. They say it's going to be short term, nothing really crazy like or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be limited in practice for the entire week. He may not even play against the Jets. But with that being said, we have a situation now where we're 85 players on the team. And as of today, it's going to be down to 80. So those 5 players aren't going to be signed, and they're not going to go to the next game against the Jets. It's really a tough time of the season or the off season when stuff like this happen, because you do create a bond with a lot of players, and like other players do, and they pretty much don't want to see any of their brothers lose their job, but that's the part of the business. It's really not a good time, but like I said, it's just a part of the business. Now, a week from now, and I don't want to get into this yet, but a week from now, it's supposed to go down to a maximum of 80 down to 53. So we're going to be talking about this again next week about who's going to make the team, and it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. But right now, they're going to be cutting 5 players today. And I'm going to give you my thoughts on one person that I feel is going to stay on the team. Because it's so much moving and shaking right now. We don't necessarily know who those 5 players are going to be, or we can't really think of it could be somebody who really never played that haven't played in the preseason. Could be somebody that we don't know. So it's like we don't know who these 5 players are. But one person that I know a lot of people are talking about that they think about going to get cut, and I don't think it is. I think he's going to be on the team. It's pretty much Jalen Mayfield. Now, I was on record. I put out a Twitter. I think it was a Twitter post saying that Jalen Mayfield is probably going to lose his job. I could be wrong, because I saw a Twitter thread of him actually blocking in his past preseason game. He actually looked pretty good, and this was a pretty long thread. So maybe Arthur Smith is going to continue to hold on to him at least until another week. Because like I said, on the 30th, they go down to 53-man roster. So that's going to be 17. Is it 17? I'm sorry. Yeah, it's going to be 17 players. No, 27 players. Yeah, I can't do math. It's going to be 27 players that are going to be cut within a week. So it's going to be getting really tight, especially on the offensive line with a lot of other players that are trying to vie for a position. It's going to be interesting, but I think Jalen Mayfield is going to stay on the roster for another week. Going to give him another try, and I think it's just going to bode well for him. Possibly he can do better things against the Jets and throughout practice and training camp, to where that he's actually going to be on the roster. So that's going to be pretty cool, either way. Because I mean, I feel like it's cool for the team per se. Because if he gets cut, that means another person is going to be in to take his spot and actually, probably do a little bit better. Or if he stays on the team, it basically means that he's done enough to stay on the team, and he can continue to get better, like I talked about in that Twitter thread. If I could find the Twitter thread, I'll put it down in the description so you guys can check it out. Jalen Mayfield was actually doing pretty decent on blocking. I know one play was like a cut block. It looked kind of weird. But at the end of the day, he was doing his job. He basically was just doing his job. So it was a cut block on that play. He just missed on the defender. But as far as blocking or whatever, he seemed like it was pretty decent. I mean, he helped create some holes or whatever, and pretty much made sure that the running backs got through the line of scrimmage. So I really can't think of anybody else that I may feel that's probably going to get cut. But I know like that's one person, Jalen Mayfield is. I think that he's going to be a shoe in. Um, I off the top of my head, I can't think of anyone else. But like I said, I wanted to be really high on Jalen Mayfield. Is one person that I actually thought was going to do good when he was bought in throughout the season, but not the season, but through the draft. But it just seemed like it didn't. I ain't gonna say it didn't pan out. It just seemed like the expectations was a little bit too high for him, and it made it look worse than what it was. So I feel like at the end of the day, at the end of the season last season, I think he started to come around and do a little bit better. So, and there's also been rumblings that he may move to right tackle or whatever the case may be. So now you got to talk about Caleb McGarry, how he's going to play. And that's another thing. Wasn't Jalen Mayfield originally a right tackle? You know, the more I think about it, I think that was the case. So he's been struggling this whole time, being in a position that he's not really built for. I don't know. I mean, and then I still think it was okay to put him there because you still have to develop way the coaches want you to develop. And I think he's done a pretty good job. He's been real professional about it, and he's been trying to do things. So out of all the five players that'll be cut, I think he's the one that's going to be staying. All the other five, I have no idea. I really don't. But it's going to be really interesting because I want to know what type of players is going to be on this team. You know, Arthur Smith and Dean Pease has a certain makeup of this team, what they wanted to be. And we saw a little bit of that in the Lions game. I think we're going to see a little bit more of that in the Jets game. And it's really unfortunate that Zach Wilson is going to be out. But that just gives, excuse me. But that just gives us, more of a situation to evaluate what we have. You know, um we should be able to go and dominate up against this Jets team. You know, the only big difference that we may have, and I don't want to get too far in the preseason. I don't want to get too far in the pregame of this, but I think one of the only people that we may have to worry about is Thibodeau and Gardner. I just can't remember anybody else that's on that team that's pretty much a threat on defense anyway. Offense, I mean, I think they have a pretty decent running game, so they may try to lean on that a little bit just to see what the defense can do. Can we stop the run? I mean, I think we did pretty good in the second half of the Lions game, but I'm just not really sure. But just don't want to go too much further in the weeds on that. I'm trying to think anyone else that may get cut. You only got five players going to get cut, so I can't think of anybody off the top of my head that probably would get cut. Because for the most part, it was a team effort in the game earlier this week when the Falcons played the Lions, and everybody on the team looked pretty good. It's really hard to say who's going to do what and what's that or whatever the case may be. I just feel that it's going to be, for the most part, gut feel. There's going to be some people that we may not know. And I know a lot of people want to talk about Jalen Mayfield, but I think he's going to be fine. I think that he's going to be on the team at least for another week. Now, when it comes down to 53-man roster, I don't know. You got to show something against the Jets and in practice. I would not be surprised. And I'll say this before I get out of here because this is going to be basically a shorter version of the podcast. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the running backs get cut. Because I think that, and I may touch on this later on, later on this week with the running back space. We have a lot of running backs that are here that can actually do some things. But the whole situation with Caleb Huntley, he did look good. But Caleb Huntley and Quadri Allison, they really had a lot of playing time for a reason. I'll just say that. They had a lot of playing time for a reason because you got Algier, you got Dame Williams, you also have Cordell Patterson, which I just saw some clips of Cordell Patterson being at wideout again, so he's going to be back and forth, so they might not even use him as much as a running back, especially when you have these other guys that are out here. But my main thing for my main thing for the running back situation, I think it's gonna be out of Huntley and Allison. You know, so if I had to pick somebody who I think is gonna stay on the team, is basically going to be Jalen Mayfield. I think he's gonna stay against a lot of people's, you know, a lot of people's judgment. But as far as who I think is going to get cut, it's going to be either Allison or Huntley. And Allison's been looking pretty good. Look like he really wants to be on the team. So we'll see how that goes. I don't have much else left to say on this episode. It's going to be a pretty much shorter episode, mostly talking about Jalen Mayfield, because I think that he's going to be on the team and get another shot, but I don't know. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you guys once again for the support. It's somewhat of a slow day when it comes to football news, but we'll know a lot more, tomorrow. Cause we'll know who got cut. We'll know, what has actually happened, not only on this team but other teams. And also, you got to understand that we could cut more than 5 players if need be. It doesn't have to be just 5. So it is going to be really interesting to see who gets cut and who gets picked up, because that's a possibility as well. It's really interesting. I am on YouTube and Rumble, Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. And I'm going to get ready to watch what's going on for the rest of the week. Pretty much keep an eye on what's going on with the teams that are being cut. Follow me on Twitter, and I'll probably give my thoughts and opinions on those situations. All right, y'all. I'm going to get up out of here. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for the support. And I'm going to get out of here. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Guys, take it easy, and you guys be blessed. Peace.